How powerful is Cox Internet? Powerful enough to keep fans across the country in the action on the biggest game days of the year. Whether you're one of 65,000 fans at Allegiant Stadium or you're streaming the game at home with America's fastest download speeds powered by fiber. Whenever it matters most, Cox keeps you connected. Cox Internet is connected to the premises via coaxial connection. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data. Fixed median download speeds. US Q3 2023.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Oh, they'd be throwing jokes back and laughing like Duda does at me.
The hell, you're easily amused, aren't you?
Jeff Lutz.
I work hard.
Hey, listen, there's a phone call for you.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
I'm either known as the Canadian or the sandwich guy.
Question 1, do you want to be Canadian? Question 2, really?
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Smells like mint.
Oh, I spit my gum in there.
Stand by for action.
Welcome back. It is a Friday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show. We've got Joanna Chadwick coming up at 3:25. Emily Stevens, psychologist, who we need today for these two yahoos, will be with us at 3:40 for 5 questions. Jason Duda in today, the 3-man booth. Some news as we begin hour number 2. Antonio Pierce gets the job in Las Vegas. He is no longer the interim Raiders coach. He is the head coach. Perhaps we can get Capra to weigh in on that. I like it. I like that move. I think it gives the Raiders a decent chance. I like it.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I like
it.
They
seemed pretty motivated for him, like they wanted to play for him. But a lot of talk was, he's kind of had to delegate, and So we'll see how it.
What do you mean? I don't know what.
That's okay.
I don't know what that means. Why wouldn't a head coach delegate?
You know what I'm saying? He was kind of.
I don't know what you're saying.
More of a figurehead than an actual guy that was the head.
Where'd you get that talk?
Just it's been around. Am I wrong, dudes?
I haven't heard that.
Anyway.
Well, again, you step into it, and then you want us to be nice.
So
don't go anyway. We're not anywaying that. We're not veering off. Tell us your source.
I have my sources. It's just kind of.
You can't tell. You don't tell a source, so I will.
Exactly.
I will be on Jeff's side with that.
Is it something you read?
I've just. I'm not. Anyway. So you had Addie Brown on as we're about to talk a little women's basketball.
Ioka Leaf, Kansas State's All-American, has an injured ankle that's going to keep her out for a month, which is too bad. Terrible news for K-State's women because they are something, and I'm sorry to have seen that. And then Josh Hader, prize left-handed reliever, is headed to the Houston Astros on a 4-year deal. The Astros now have Hader and Presley at the back of their bullpen. Pretty impressive.
That'll play. The Astros are dangerous. They'll always be dangerous, it seems like. They've been dangerous for a long time.
Meanwhile, the Cleveland Guardians,
Scott Barlow.
They checked their email earlier.
Scott Barlow and
That's about it.
Scott Barlow and Emmanuel Clase at the back end of their bullpen, which is just fine.
Just fine?
Yeah,
That's just fine. It's not great.
It's we'll see. Those guys both have closer experience and pedigree and track record.
So who's going to be the closer?
Emmanuel Clase will be the closer,
For
unless they trade him, which I would advocate for at this point, but we'll see.
What do you think about trading Jose Ramirez, as some have said the Guardians should do?
They won't. They'll never do that. That is
some have said, my sources.
That is completely off the table. He signed a...
Say, why not get a haul back for him when there are a limited number of third basemen that you could get a haul. Are the Guardians aware?
Why would anyone ever come play for the Guardians ever again? When you're treating your face of the franchise like that. He signs a well below market deal and negotiates a no-trade clause, and then year 2, we'll see him, Jose. Will you waive your no-trade clause for us? No. He's going to play there.
Not year 2. He signed that deal several years ago.
No, he didn't.
Well, sure
This
he
will
did.
be year 3, basically.
No, it'll be 4.
No, it won't.
Ugh.
I don't know why you're looking at me. I have no
Look it
idea
up.
when he signed it.
You know, I get so tired of defending my intelligence. And
Well, so does everyone else, trust me.
I don't. I'm usually okay with it.
You don't mind me defending my
Oh, I
intelligence.
thought you were talking about us personally. I really never defend my personal intelligence.
Well, what's there to defend?
Well, there's not much there to defend, and there's
I
not
worry
a big
about
deal.
Dia listening when I say
He signed it before the 2022 season, so this
I
is...
worry about Dia listening when I say things. So
She won't care. You're all
well,
right.
she did. She cared about what Jeff said.
That's true.
So what I take away from that is she likes me more than Jeff.
So Addie Brown.
What about Addie Brown?
You had her on the show. She was unbelievable. It was a great interview.
Thank you.
Mostly
Thank you.
because of her and her answers and insight. And I heard you mentioning that I hope she doesn't completely
What'd
just...
she do? I forgot to check.
2 points.
2 points.
Missed all of it, both free throws.
Wow, Bob.
And,
Wow.
and Iowa State lost to Texas Tech.
Well, she'll never come on this show again.
Well, if I were her, I wouldn't.
I mean, you don't think that crossed her mind
Guaranteed it did.
after the game? Why'd I go on with those yahoos?
The whole way back, and that older guy kept saying, "Oh, you know what? I'll go back because if you have a good game, then it'll be because you were on the show."
And
So I
leave it
bet
up
she's
to Jeff
probably
to look
thinking.
at it. If she'd had 43 and 19,
I would
you
have
think
told
he'd have mentioned
I
it?
would have told you.
Do you think he would have?
If she had 43 and 19, you'd have heard about it, so you would have told us.
Okay, 21 and 11. What-
Nah, I don't.
15 and 8.
15 and 8. No,
Wouldn't have told us, would he?
probably not because it's 15 and 8. Good
And she
game,
averages
but nothing
14 and
spectacular.
9. So
Yeah, right at her averages, basically.
wouldn't have said a word, would he?
Probably not.
But to make me feel bad, hey, did you see what Addie Brown did?
I'm not trying to make you
hey.
feel bad.
That's the way it goes on this show. I mean, we opened the show because you got the pick right last night. If you would have got it wrong, we wouldn't have opened with
Oh, we'd
that.
have talked about it.
Oh, heaven
See,
forbid.
but we didn't even talk
wouldn't
about
have.
about the game that much. We just talked
Well,
about
I didn't see the second half. I saw the first half.
why are you having practice on a weeknight?
Because we have an indoor facility
I
to do
understand,
that.
but didn't you
And
go?
I've got 27 teams I got to fit in there. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Tell me what you want. What would you do?
I don't know. I would have started practice at 4:30 or 5.
We
or-
got education at that time. We got a tutoring program.
It's all beautiful.
Now what would you do?
Start practice about 4:30 or 5.
So just interrupt the education program.
I don't know. Was every player that was at practice also at the education program?
No, that's not to say. They're two different things.
Okay. So we couldn't have taken care of both of those at once. I'm asking.
Here's a guy who's
I'm
shown
asking.
hardly any interest.
That's just not true at all.
And now he's going to tell me how to run.
I'm asking. I'm not telling you.
You just, when Duda's here, you are so desperate to try to get him on your side.
I don't. If he's on my side, great.
No, it's a constant ploy.
You think we always?
Okay, I'm going to throw this out. Maybe Duda will come with me. Come with me here.
I do feel a little bit safer with Duda.
You should.
But it has nothing to do with his opinion necessarily.
What do you mean? Why do you feel safer with
Because
Duda?
I'm the voice of reason on this
I just don't feel like you're going to absolutely crush me when he's here.
Well, that's all I've done.
That's all I've done. Oh, Robert.
I mean, come on.
I mean, you'll take your shots, and I appreciate it. But you know, it's a little more tempered. It seems like.
I don't know. The Shockers. What do you want to say about the Shockers?
Not much.
Did you watch the second half?
I watched the first half too, most of it.
They looked very good. Quincy Ballard was outstanding in that game.
He was.
They played Bijan Cortez. I've been critical. Can't be. He played well last night. There are signs in almost every game of the Shockers being pretty good. Problem is there's signs in almost every game of them not being very good. And they can't they're the most roller coaster team that I can remember. They're all over the place.
It's hard to fathom. You go up 17-4, and you also have a 14-0 run in the first half. That's 31-4, and they lost that game. That doesn't make any sense to me. I can't.
They played a good opponent, and that crowd got them going. And Florida Atlantic made shots. If you make shots, that's a pretty big part of the game. So I don't know. I don't know where the Shockers are. They go to South Florida. You thought maybe that'd be one, but then you see South Florida coming back at Memphis, down 20 and beating the Tigers. And you saw Memphis there in Wichita the other day, and you said nobody can beat them. Well, South Florida beat them.
Yeah, maybe this league isn't so great.
Could be. That could well be.
It's unfortunate. Because you want to hang your hat on Memphis and Florida Atlantic, and maybe they'll do damage in the postseason.
Penny Hardaway gets players, really good players, offensively, but he can't. He's missing the other components of being a coach, and I don't know how long Memphis can go with that. That team is so ultra talented, and they just don't put it together.
This is true, and it doesn't make sense.
Maybe he needs to delegate.
Well, he has. He's tried. He's had Larry Brown on the staff.
Your sources are telling you that?
He's had Mike Miller on the staff. He's had
He's
Rasheed
got
Wallace.
Rick Stansbury on his staff now.
What are these guys
He had
doing?
Mike Miller originally, and you think, well, that's a good sign. What are those guys doing? What are those guys doing? Because Memphis is the same thing every year. Oh, my God, look at them. So much talent. They score from anywhere. And then they end up losing a game like they lost last night. They'll lose a couple more. They'll get to the NCAA tournament and lose to somebody that shouldn't beat them. And I gotta imagine Memphis fans are, as much as they want Penny to succeed. And why is your hat pulled down like that?
Because that light's really
Well,
bright.
deal with it.
I am dealing with it. I just pulled my hat down a little bit.
I mean,
that's the definition of dealing with it.
Is that not dealing with it?
That's how one deals with things.
I guess.
Like you snap at me for the exact thing that I'm doing that you're telling me I should do. Deal with it. I am dealing with it.
Well, as much as I appreciate that, it's a ridiculous look right now with the hat pulled down.
Yes, and I'm really concerned about the way I look in your basement with the two of you guys.
You never know when a photographer might show up.
When's the last time you were concerned with the way you looked? Like, I really got to look good here. I got to make it.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, no clue.
Well, I think he's concerned with what are you insinuating?
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm
Like
just
if
saying.
I had to go somewhere and I was really concerned about what I was wearing and if I had my hair right.
Yeah.
The couple that I have left up there, I couldn't tell you. I don't. That doesn't concern me at all. It never has.
It doesn't appear it concerns any of us. By the way, we're all.
What do you want? A tuxedo to do the show in?
Yeah, we're on radio.
The same about myself.
I mean, I'm down in my basement.
Great.
I'm glad you're not in your PJs.
Exactly.
If you were, I'd be fine with it.
And so would I.
Well, tomorrow, Monday. You never know. By the way, comedian Dusty Slay scheduled to be here on Monday. We look
watch his
forward.
special yet?
Have not yet. That's a weekend endeavor. Didn't have time. When was I going to watch it?
Last night.
I had practice.
I had the Shockers. I had a meeting, and then I had an indoor
Have you
practice.
watched it yet, dudes?
No.
You should. It's very, very funny.
You know, we don't all share your life. We don't all have that.
Oh, from the guy, I got to watch Yellow Jackets. I got to watch
get under a
Succession.
blanket and
I got to watch 30 movies. I got to watch every show that's ever aired on television. I got to follow every musician and watch the Emmys and the Grammys. I'm asking you to watch one thing.
I didn't have time last night.
Yeah.
And I may not watch it now.
Great.
And I may cancel Dusty Slay's appearance.
How
do you like that, dude?
You go right ahead.
I would be heartbroken if that happened.
Let me know what you decide. I'll be on pins and needles.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, you do whatever you want.
I feel
big
like
fella.
I'm cornered right now.
Oh, well, why would you feel that way?
I don't know.
You're the only one that can answer that question.
I don't know, but I'm about ready to lash out.
Happy days. Let her buck.
Darn right.
Wait till Joanna gets on and just lash out.
I may take it out on Joanna.
Yeah, I think you should.
Joanna Chadwick will be our guest next. We'll talk high school basketball tournaments, boys tournaments, all around the state. An interesting result last night, Wichita East with a win over campus out in Dodge City. That's an impressive win for Curtis Witten. Well,
Carlin Witten.
Carlin Witten. And the East High Blue Aces. We'll get Joanna's thoughts next.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to keep fans across the country in the action on the biggest game days of the year. Whether you're one of 65,000 fans at Allegiant Stadium or you're streaming the game at home with Cox Fiber from the company with America's fastest download speeds. Whenever it matters most, Cox keeps you connected. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data. Fixed median download speeds. US Q3 2023.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFA.
Joanna Chadwick joins us. Hello, Joanna.
I was really, really worried standing here wondering, my God, what is he going to ask me? So thank you for saying that. Yeah.
We think that every day, Joanna, so you're not alone at least.
Okay, yeah.
It's slowly coming off the rails, but I hope to hold on for a few more years.
All right, thank you.
Let's talk about high school basketball tournaments because there are some great ones, and I was most struck, I think, last night by the ability of Wichita East to knock off campus out in Dodge City. Carlin Witten has done what seems to be a pretty good job at East High School.
Well, I have to admit to being surprised by that win, especially because campus, with their two-headed monster of Angelo Burton and Kason Thomas are so talented. They can score in bunches and in exciting fashion. But look at what they did. Manuel Martinez had 22 points, and I believe it's Jamari Berry hit 6 3-pointers, and they win by 1. It's always tough to win at Dodge City anyway, but to be able to win against a very strong opponent is excellent. So props to East for that win.
And then another result that interested me, we know how good Mays South is. Wichita Southeast in the Valley Center tournament kind of hung with them for a while. They lost by 10, but they gave Mays South a little bit of a battle.
Well, and I have to admit to being a little bit surprised by that outcome too. But Southeast is an unbelievably long team, and they when Derby played them, Southeast got into foul trouble. One of their big men, I think it was Granger, got into foul trouble. The DJ Brown, he looked really good out there as well. And they've got just long players who can get to the rim. And Colin Laws is usually a better three-point shooter. He did not shoot well against Derby at all. And so I was surprised that they hung with May South, but then again, I haven't seen Derby play well against May South in the past couple of years, so that my vision could be a little bit affected by that.
We had Mitch Fiegel on the show before the season started, and he was talking about the team had a lot of injuries. They were ranked number 1 in the preseason in 3A, but they shouldn't be losing to Emporia, right? Am I? Or is Emporia better than I think?
You would think so, but I think that they are down quite a few players. Jaden Parker, I don't think, has played, and I think I looked at their box last night. If I remember right, they were playing without. I think they were playing without Batiste, and so that means that you're down to one stud in Sebastian Heinz-Turner, and so I'm on the radio, you doofuses.
I'm so sorry. Kids Tell those kids this is part of 21st century journalism.
Exactly, it is right in the moment. But no, I mean, so I think they're down some players. I don't know a single thing about Emporia, but you're right. I was very surprised to see that victory over Collegiate.
How I guess I've never been to any of these tournaments, so explain to me. We have all these coaches on, we talk, and everybody is so excited to go to this mid-season tournament. Doesn't matter where it is or what it is. What's the deal with everybody just being so excited? Is it just the fact that you're getting away and you're going somewhere else to play for 3 days? What's the huge deal about these tournaments? I can't wrap my head around it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. How long have you been doing this radio show?
Well, way too long. Way too
Okay,
long, and
so
after today, it might be my last day.
5 years? Is that longer than 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, you need to get your butt to a tournament. I mean,
I know.
you just have to.
This is why
Go
I'm
to
asking.
McPherson. Go to McPherson.
Because we got, and I'm
Tell Joanna what you told your daughter when she asked you to. She wanted to go to Dodge City.
She did, and
you,
she was
and she asked
super
you,
disappointed.
Can you come and get me?
I couldn't. I got to work.
No, tell her what you told your daughter.
But also, I said you got to make a decision. She had the thing on Saturday or go to the tournament. So I said I can't drive 6 hours and pick you up before Saturday, and she was literally upset. But also, there's parents driving out there Thursday, coming back to work Friday, driving back out there Friday night to watch tournaments. I think it's
Those
great.
Are the good parents.
I think it's great. But
Okay,
it's just
so
it's just something I haven't experienced.
Because here's the thing. You clearly are missing something, and you know you're missing something, and you just haven't done anything about it. You absolutely should have gone to pick up your daughter from Dodge City and taken her back. I understand why you didn't, but for her to experience the Dodge City tournament is also outstanding. Dodge City and MAC are my favorite tournaments, but I also love going to Halstead. It's you see teams playing a lot of times, playing teams that they don't normally play. You see people kind of out of pocket because they're staying overnight someplace. You've got fans, you've got people who are diehards who are there all the time. It is an exciting atmosphere. And just to be able to sit there and watch 4 games in one day is awesome. I loved going 4 games Thursday, 4 Friday, 4 Saturday. You got to go experience it.
So what you're saying in a nutshell is just I'm a bad parent.
No, what she's
Just say,
totally what I'm
just say it out loud.
No, here's what she's saying. She's a mother of 3. She can pick up that you're guilt-ridden for not going out to Dodge City. It's not hard. And that moment in your daughter's life is now will never be recaptured. It's gone forever. So
Yep.
yeah, I guess you got one more chance.
Nah, I'm going home. I'll see you guys next week.
You got one more chance next year.
But they might not be in. They might not be in Dodge
That's
City.
true.
They're
They
in-
probably won't be.
They're in Andover. She's already checked. So no, bad parenting. Well, it's not the first time. I guarantee it won't be the last.
Well,
But
as
personally,
somebody
I
who
would
has
suggest
been
getting
to
there.
a bunch of mid-season tournaments, they are fun. They open a hospitality room for the media. You get 4 games in a day. You get to play 3 games in 3 days. It's a nice break, and they're just so enjoyable. And everybody tries to run the best tournament they can at every site. They're all working hard to make it great for fans and players and media and whomever. I mean, this is a great time of year for that.
I agree with everything he
Joanna?
said. I agree with everything that you said, and I think that it's my favorite time of year. I'm looking forward to going to watch my husband's team play next week in Emporia. I haven't been to the Emporia tournament in a long time. That's right. And I took my son to McPherson last night just so that he could take pictures of the games, and then
That's
I
awesome,
got to
taking your
enjoy
kid.
watching it.
I don't even understand what you're.
Oh, I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now I do.
You get it?
It took me a second to
You
catch
got
up.
it? You following?
Derby McPherson tonight in McPherson, where the Bullpups are undefeated. That's an intriguing game. Can Derby go into that atmosphere in McPherson's tournament and make that game a game?
I think so. I mean, the fact is, Derby struggled coming out of the gate this season, and they lost at McPherson in the opening season game by 1 point. If Derby plays the way they did last night as they did against Free State, where Caden Franklin was phenomenal. He had 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 block shots. If they can get that kind of output from him, I think that's a game changer because it takes the pressure off Metzger, who scored 42 the other night. It allows the other offensive players to step up. But that's the kind of game that they're going to need to beat McPherson. McPherson looked beatable for a second last night. I mean, they were up 17-3 on Bishop Carroll, and Bishop Carroll took a 20-19 lead. So that was a pretty impressive little run by Carroll, but then, they ended up winning by 11. So I think it should be a very good game.
All right, we appreciate it. You guys doing some after-school work with your students tonight?
I'm not, but it's too cold to stand outside and talk to you guys. So they've got a Dungeons and Dragons group together right now in the Commons, and I'm standing out here just hanging out with them.
Was this in 1997?
It is the largest club that we have in school, the most active.
Wow.
Yep.
We'll have to decipher that.
Bob was in it when he was growing up too, so he gets
Bob
it.
was in it when he was growing up.
Yeah, they had little army guys and cards and stuff when he was doing it. It was
Joanna,
different
I'm
back
sorry
then.
you had to hear that. Again, due to
so good to
dealing
talk
with
to you
guilt,
guys.
and Jeff just being a you-know-what. Thanks, Joanna.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
All right.
Didn't
there
you start the Dungeons and Dragons Club at Derby?
Now I see what's going on. It's more clear to me. Why do you say that?
Because it's
no
funny.
reason.
Again, you're old.
No, that's not that. You're a big nerd. This is what I was going for that time.
I've never been a nerd.
But it's funny.
No, it's not. It's not accurate. It can't be.
Was it funny, dudes?
I don't think it was accurate, but it was funny.
It can't be funny if it's not accurate.
Of course it can.
Really? It can't be?
Whatever a nerd is, and I don't really know, but I don't think I would fit the stereotypical definition of a nerd.
All right, I'm going to take a picture of you in those glasses and let me see what the Twitterverse might have to say about it.
But you know what you should do is if you do that, you put prof or nerd. And I bet you it's coming out prof.
Maybe
Aren't
so.
they the same?
No.
Here is Emily Stevens. Emily joining us for the first time in a little bit. She was a regular here as we talked to her about the psychological ramifications of COVID and being shut in and all that we endured in those months. Hello, Emily.
Hello. I'm so happy to be back.
It's good to have you back, for sure. So we're going to play a little intro, and then we'll get going here. Max? That's our 5 questions. So I'll start, Emily. What are the similarities in being on radio and being a psychologist?
Lots of people come to you with their problems. I used to always joke. When I was in my studio, people would come in and they'd be like, "Hi, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm good. How are you?" And they'd be like, "Well, last night this thing happened with my significant other." I'd be like, "Oh, you don't actually want to talk to me. You just want me to like give you free therapy right now in the studio." So the similarities, I think it's just, you're trying to connect with people and you're trying to give people, like you guys are trying to entertain and give facts, right? Like there's things, it's a little bit different when it's therapy, when you're trying to help people navigate something, but ultimately you're there to kind of walk a journey with people. And I think that would probably be the biggest similarity is the connection.
So it's been a couple years since you've been on. What have you been up to? What have you been doing with your life?
So I have a therapy practice here in Wichita where I see clients. I also do online coaching, and I've recently gotten into business coaching for therapists, helping therapists start an online coaching business to expand their reach and expand their knowledge to other revenue streams and other ways of connecting and helping people.
All right, Emily, this is the staple.
You're going to ask her about Dodge City, aren't you?
5-car Dodge City.
Not
No.
therapy.
I don't need therapy for that, and we don't have enough time. So I'm just going to go to my go-to question because I need to know what I'm doing tonight. So your favorite restaurant in the city, and what do you order?
My favorite restaurant in the city. Well, since it's a Friday night, I'm going to say Public at Brickyard, the Public downtown. And tonight's the only night they do burnt ends, and I absolutely love them. It comes with this incredible blue cornbread, and so that's where I would go, and that's what I would order.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that does sound good.
Yeah, they have a great pork belly appetizer there, too.
Is that where you're headed tonight, dudes?
Well, burnt ends and pork belly, like that's basically right up my alley.
Well, maybe you can take your daughter down there. We're talking with Emily Stevens. That's an inside thing, Emily. I apologize.
It's not inside. They talked about it on the show. So this is where I need therapy, I guess.
Psychologist Emily Stevens joins us, formerly a radio personality here at The Buzz. So what was the most fun thing about doing radio? What did you enjoy about it? Is there anything you miss about it?
I really enjoyed the craft of broadcasting, like actually being on the air and coming up with clever things to say or funny things to say or how to say something more concise or say it better. I really enjoyed the actual on-air process of it, especially when I used to work in morning shows where it was more like talk radio, like what you guys do. I really enjoyed the craft side of it. And did you say, do I miss it or what do I miss? Because I feel like those are two different answers.
Yeah, do you miss it? And if you do, what do you miss?
I miss aspects of it. I miss the camaraderie with other radio people. Working in a radio station is super fun. I miss some of the perks, like back in the day when you would go backstage at concerts and that kind of fun stuff. And truly, we now have podcasting and things, so I can do broadcasting in my own way. But it's, a little bit different. So I wouldn't say overall, I don't think every day I miss it, but I look back on my experience in radio very fondly. That's how I'll put that.
There you go.
So, Emily, how much of a science is therapy by the book, and how much of it is an art where you kind of put your own spin and style on it? And what is something, or what are some things that make a good therapist?
Ooh, okay. So I would say that there's a lot of theory that goes into therapy, right? Like we're trained to help people in certain theories. So every therapist is going to gravitate towards different theories that they use more or that resonate with more with them as people, and therefore that's how they want to help their clients. But obviously we're still people. We try to be as blank of a slate as possible, but we're still going to bring some of who we are into the therapy room. And I think what makes a good therapist is dependent on, there's lots of different good therapists. It just depends on what that person needs. Like I'm a very directive therapist, so I ask a lot of questions. I really challenge people and things like that, where some people need more of a more passive therapist that's more listening, and so they can really get a lot out. They don't necessarily want to be challenged as much in the beginning or at all, ever. And so for me, what makes me a good therapist is that I really am open to whatever journey somebody wants to walk. I'm willing to walk alongside them, no matter if that aligns with me 100% or not.
Well, you've been on the show here a little bit, so you know Bob and Jeff. As a therapist, what advice would you give each one of them?
I think I can answer this. One of you needs to move several states away from the other.
I don't think that's true. I'm really going to answer this. I'm really going to answer it because I think I have a good answer. I think they both need to show their softer side more. I think they both have a bigger, softer side than they let anybody see or know about.
You know what? I think that's a great answer.
I'll let some people see it, but Bob, nah, come on.
But here's the thing, and that's an interesting thing you just said. Of course, I have a softer side, but for radio purposes, I'm not sure the audience would accept that. So what advice would you give me on how to portray that softer side and not leave this audience a little bit wanting?
I think you could show that softer side in small bite-sized pieces. It doesn't necessarily have to become who you are, but I do think there are times that you, and this is not therapy what's happening right now. However,
why is my head exploding?
I do think you could show bite sizes of that, because I've seen it. I've seen it having worked with you in the past. You're a pretty nice guy, but you act pretty tough around Jeff. So I just think sometimes you could show that, because I know it's there.
Oh, I can't wait till next week. This is going to be great.
Who booked Emily? All right. You get to ask us a question now, and we're going to do our best to answer it.
Okay. I have been thinking about this today, because I'm like, what am I going to ask? I know you guys, you're talking on the radio every day, so your audience does know a lot about you. So I'm curious, what is something your audience would be surprised to know about you?
Jeff?
Is there anything that we really don't say on this show?
We've put a lot of stuff out there.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
Almost, I cry more now based on levels of emotion than I ever have. It comes out of nowhere, and it comes out of whatever can trigger it. I can't even name a specific trigger mechanism. It just happens. It's the empathy that you're so wanting me to show, Emily. That,
yes, it's there.
That does exist within. That's mine.
I guess along some of the same lines, I have pretty deep feelings about things. I'm passionate about the things that I love, obviously. I think everybody is. I don't know if that's a surprise, but I feel things pretty deeply. I don't always wear it on my sleeve, but sometimes I do, and that's that.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything is kind of out there for me with this. I'm just glad you were on today, because I think you've made a breakthrough with these two guys.
See, there's no answer.
Literally.
You're not getting
made
an
a
answer.
breakthrough.
And deeper into that, you got me going now. I mean, we have a nonprofit, League 42, and we have 600 kids. So that's not something I wear on my sleeve here on this show, but it's always with me. It's always first and foremost in my mind, and trying to make a difference for that many kids is a daunting task, but with a lot of help and a lot of people who are pulling in the same direction, I think we are making a difference for a lot of kids. So I certainly take great pride in that, and that's not something that I talk to a lot of people about.
And it's a really cool thing that you do. Like, you are making a difference in those kids' lives, and you should talk more about it, because it's really cool.
Well, not on this show, because I've got an image to uphold, Emily.
It might be changing by next week.
Emily, it's really fun to talk with you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Emily Stevens, our guest for 5 questions. I'm going to get off this show and go look in a mirror for an hour. We will see you all Monday. Have a great weekend. Thanks to Jason Duda, the 3-man booth. We'll see you Monday.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to keep fans across the country in the action on the biggest game days of the year. Whether you're one of 65,000 fans at Allegiant Stadium or you're streaming the game at home with Cox Fiber from the company with America's fastest download speeds. Whenever it matters most, Cox keeps you connected. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data. Fixed median download speeds US Q3 2023.